So what I was talking about is doing things in the name of love, right? So when we do everything in love, and as I said, when Oleana asked, how do I recharge myself? And I said, oh, I do it this way and I do it that way. You know, opportunity rise, I seize the moment. But really the end of the day is when I was doing the sound healing, because she asked the question, how do you recharge yourself? And I realized, and the voice came, is when you recharge yourself, where you get recharged, Misun, is you do everything in the name of love. And that you feel it 100% when you're doing it. So it's nothing but a joy. So whether it is backbreaking work or whatever it is, that when you show up and you do it that way, when you think back, it just made you invigorated, right? Next day you feel thrilled, like, you know, and we miss that joy when we don't recognize that. And so oftentimes, we do give so much in life to everybody, but we don't do it in love. We feel put upon. We feel like that person is an idiot who should be taken care of, but they're incapable of taking care of, so I have to go rescue them, right? All those feelings is a poisonous.
Yeah.
And reason that I recognize that, because I remember being a child without a mother, and people giving me things or saying things like, oh, that pathetic child, you know, she doesn't have a mother, she doesn't have a, you know, father and whatever, so we have to pity her, so we have to give her things. I remember being so angry, I received so early, I don't need your pity, I don't want your pity. So everything that whatever they try to give it to me, it just felt like drinking poison. Mm-hmm. It did not nurture me. So I remember like incident in, say, last 30 some more years, and somebody owed me money, and when they were paying me, they put such a resistance to it. Finally, I stopped accepting it, and another person asked, why? Like, they owe you money and you need that money. I said, that money, I could not buy anything that would nurture any of us, because that money is a poisonous. To come with that energy, so I don't want it. I don't want it. So I'm fully aware of that energy exchange takes place more than anything else, and it's also very poisonous for us to drink for it, eat from it, because when you think about when somebody gave you something that not of love, right? Just like. They pitied you or just gave it to you with that kind of energy, and it just feels awful, right? There's nothing good about it. So we all know that.
We don't want that. Otherwise, why wouldn't we? Yeah.
But we know that, but we don't exercise that. That's why there's one point in time long ago, literally I go in the restaurants, and if the waitress has attitude, I move myself. If the table doesn't look cohesive, I start rearranging the table, because I understand energy, that how I'm going to feel, is that acknowledging that. So at the same time, it might be as hard as it is when we do things for somebody else, because it could be financial, it could be emotional, it could be physical, but if it's better, I think, you just don't do it. Because when you do it, you're going to be out of money, you're going to be out of your energy, your back's going to be hurting, and the person who received, that's not going to nurture them any. Because all that retained was the energy of your bitterness. And all that you felt inside, right?
Sometimes with finance, it's like, you have to do that, but you don't want to, but that's a bad feeling, you know. But you know that person really need it, so you make yourself, but I know that's not a good.
I actually have just recently made a statement, and it really is true, because of the things that I've been doing and the growth that I've had. I can honestly say that I don't feel obligated to do anything anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's just beautiful, because
if I want to do it, I do it.
Yeah, because then it shows up.
Do it, you know?
Yeah, because it shows up as love. I mean, think about just the energy.
Yeah. Sometimes you know that this is kind of like, you feel like it's just being used, not like, you know, that not genuine need or something like that. But sometimes it's so complicated
Yeah, even that, when you,
I think we worry what would they think, and
I
is it
guess
gonna
so,
make a fuss? And
yeah.
so that's where you have to look inward and say, why am I really doing these things, right?
yeah, and sometimes that even the person has feel like you're being manipulated, but since you recognize that, then you make a choice.
Right.
That person thinks like whatever they are thinking, but do I still want to do it because I want to share. I want to help that person, not because they are manipulating me, but I'm making the choice.
Right, that's a good way.
You know, and when once you recognize, then that's all about the choice. Because I always said, you know, in other statements, is I rather own my mistake 100% instead of feeling like I had no choice. Because when you feel like you had no choice, like somebody manipulated you and sucked you into it, then literally you feel powerless.
That's
Right?
a bad feeling, yeah.
But if you know, why would you go through that? Why would you allow yourself to do that? But if you know you made the choice, even though it was a mistake, then you recognize you had a power and you own that.
Yeah.
So, you know, so when as we're going back about that, my awareness of what that voice told me, and I realized in so many ways. So literally when I work long days and long hours, I don't feel tired. And so really what's an affirmation is, yeah, because as much as I give, my God, I receive in 1,000 ways. So I am recharged.
Yes.
I am charged to do more. I feel joyful. So I was telling this story to my friend Richard, who has been on a lot of podcasts with me, because he asked the questions most people think about it, but they don't necessarily, and he feels really wonderful that he can ask questions. So, but today wasn't a long conversation, but there was a brief conversation. But I was telling him about that awareness happened. So he said, "Oh, Misoon, this reminds me." He said, long time ago, maybe over 30 years ago, that this guy was working for him, and I think was in a real estate. And he said, I thought he was such an idiot. I was just complaining about how incompetent and what an idiotic the man was, and that he just wanted to fire him because he was just so bad. So his friend at the time, I don't know if she's still a friend, but I don't know who she is, but said to him one day, "Hey, Richard, have you tried love? Have you tried to deal with him in love?" And he thought, like, what the hell are you talking about? I can't stand him. He's driving me crazy. I want to fight. What do you mean with love? And she said, you might be surprised.
Wow.
And so he said, okay, he respected her enough. And probably maybe I'm leaving one or two things out, but I don't think so, just of the story. So he said, he went and he tried it. Everything changed. Oh my God. That incompetent person that he had so much to complain could not do enough for him, could not do everything right for him.
Because he was giving that energy to him
Exactly.
too.
So my conversation, and so he learned, like, oh my God, and he kind of forgot, and I made him remember it today.
Yeah.
And he said, everything changed. So I said, you see what you were doing was whether, and as I am, as you know, my thoughts, it's louder than my voice. And I think either Frost or somebody has said something like that, what you're not saying is so loud, you know, it's deafening or something in that phrase. So he was kind of reminding me of that. But so I said, well, what you were doing is when we don't realize, is when you have this thought, and the thought is energy, then the thought turns to wave, right? The wave, like an electrical current. So once we have the thought, then it turns into emotion, then emotion turns into wave. And the wave is a current, they're moving. So it's floating through the air, and he can read your mind, he can feel it. You don't even have to open your mouth. So when even you didn't say, you idiot, incompetent, so-and-so, you think saying, could you please do it? But you're not, what you're saying did not match up to what you were projecting. So he was feeling unseen
Yes,
and unheard.
Yeah.
So once you acknowledged him, that he mattered, that he was important, in a way that we just speaking to him is like, not how are you, because I just cursory saying. But if I looked at you and saying, Smita, how are you? How was your day? That you feel that energy coming, that I really care.
Yeah.
That you feel seen, right?
Yes, everybody wants that.
Everybody needs some validation.
Yes.
Everybody needs some validation. And perhaps we will get to the point because we feel so validated by life, maybe we don't need that validation. And that would be good when we get there. But meanwhile, the reality of the matter is that it's not what you say, it's the how you say, again and again and again. And I think that kind of conversation, recently I offered some help to some young person, and because oftentimes we show up in life saying, my God, you shouldn't be keeping your room that way. Your car looks like a mess. Like your desk looks like a mess. What is wrong with you? Straighten it out, right? And then you just kind of say it to yourself. They already know they're doing all these things, right? Mm-hmm. So when you say it, it's just kind of slapping them in the face. Yeah. That doesn't feel good, and they feel very defensive. Mm-hmm. But if you came and said, you must be just so busy. I remember my days like that. So if you need any help with anything, I would just love to help you, but let me know, And if you say it kind of that way, this has an entire different energy. They don't feel accused, they don't feel defensive, put down or defensive, right? Yeah. So it's that, because we have all walked through that place once upon a time, in one way or another. Mm-hmm. And if somebody showed up with love,
yes, so totally different people.
You would have moved so fast.
You want to do it.
Moving fast meaning you would have grown so much faster, and that you wouldn't have had to harbor that hurt, the wounds. So it behooves us, every single one of us, to really, when we know better, because when we know better, we do better. We can't say like to the person, because they're not doing better because they don't know better. But once we begin to understand, this is how I want to be treated, then it's our job to treat everyone that way, whether they treat you the same way. That's irrelevant. Yeah. It's who do you want to be, because that's how you're going to make a change in life, is you standing up, because it has worked for you so much that you want to share. But if you react from the winds of somebody else's whims of their emotions, then you still is a currency exchange. You're nice to me, I'm nice to you. Right. But if you stick to the world you want to see and you begin to build, like Gandhi says, be the change that you want to see in the world. Yeah. And that is how you change everything. But I think then ultimately my lesson and it's been a lesson, but I didn't understand. And by yesterday, I got it, or last night, was that the voice telling me. And then I go, oh, that's how I've been getting all along, is that with everything, do it in love. Yeah. Do it in love, yeah.
Beautiful.